Hola chicos, last daily assignment before I unleash your summative assessment tomorrow. And today's assignment is called A Reflection on a Reflection. And so we are still doing 9/11 stuff. This is a reflection on 9/11, and it's a reflection written by a guy by the name of Omar Aziz. And I really like this reflection because it's just one person's perspective, but I think it goes a long way in showing how much perspective matters when we view these watershed moments in history. So Omar Aziz is a Muslim, and his reflections very much reflect how different the 9/11 attacks were perceived by Muslim Americans, or at least the extra components added to the 9/11 attacks for Muslim Americans than for non-Muslim Americans. And I think, again, this speaks a lot to perspective of any historical event. Like, you look at 9/11 and how if you lived in New York City, it might have been perceived a lot differently than if you lived in Minnesota, or how much differently you might perceive the 9/11 attacks if you knew someone who worked in the World Trade Center buildings, or you knew someone who was on a plane that day, than if you were someone who didn't know anyone who was in the World Trade Center, or who didn't know anyone that was traveling that day. So perspective is important. And to compare it again to what we're living through right now, COVID-19, how different COVID-19 is in New York City than it is in greater Minnesota. How different COVID-19 is if you're a young, relatively healthy person than if you're like an older person receiving chemotherapy treatments right now. Or if you know someone who is an older person, if you have a grandma and grandpa or grandpa living in assisted living, how much differently you might be thinking about this COVID-19 crisis. So perspective is everything. And that's what this article gets at today, and that's what I want you to reflect about. What in this article stands out? What in this reflection can you learn about the 9/11 attacks? That's it. Write that reflection. I will give you your summative assessment tomorrow, and I'll also make a video that gives you a little bit of advice about how you might go about completing this surprise summative assessment. That's all for today. I will see you tomorrow. Finley, say bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.